We're live.
Hey, y'all.
Hello, everyone. We had a magnificent day yesterday, spending time with about 30 other English speaking Black folks. We had a pajama holiday party and it was on point. The food was delicious. The kids were having fun
Oh, they were running around. I didn't see how they stood. Those kids was awake until we left.
until midnight.
And they was running around like crazy.
Exactly. Exactly. We want you to have, okay, I'm going to ask you, do you love your life?
Oh, yeah. I truly love my life. I'm enjoying every moment of every day.
We want the same for you.
Yeah.
We want the same for you. So today we're going to talk about it. So, when we were doing our research, I want to tell you only 9% of Americans actually fulfill their New Year's resolutions. 9%, y'all.
Wow. Why? Why do you think that is? Why do you think it is?
I think it's because people are not really being honest with themselves, about what they really want. Okay, so for
Okay.
instance, okay, you were a singer.
Mhm.
You were in a relatively successful band. You opened for big names, all of that. You wanted to be a superstar, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
I wanted to be that superstar because I felt that, wow, if I can get to this status, selling records and doing that, I can make enough money to give everybody in my family everything they need. I could take care of everything they needed. And plus, friends, and I could help. I had plans to build like houses for homeless people or people in need and stuff like that. I wanted to do these big grandiose things with my money, not thinking so much of me, but of other people also. I think, or I thought.
And so it's interesting because we did meet late after we had given up that dream. I also am a singer and not even a tenth as successful as Rick was, but I did do some. I did get paid. I did get paid.
Mm-hmm.
And I had dreams of being a superstar too. I thought I was going to buy my mama a house and pay it off, right? Or at least pay off the place that she was at, hey mom, right? And I wanted to buy an island.
Wow, that's
Yes.
ambitious.
Not an islandette like we see on HDTV. I wanted to buy an island. And I was going to build a compound, and then family members and stuff could have places on the island and all of this stuff. And I remember someone who was in my life, a friend of the family at the time, said, "You know what your problem is, Halisi? Your problem is you dream too big."
But what else there to do? I mean, you dream big. You have to dream big. You can't dream small and want to succeed in all these things. You have to have that dream.
Well, that's what I think too.
Hope.
That's what I think too. And I remember this young lady, she was really young at the time. She was like 19, and I had told her the story. I was kind of mentoring her. I was the ripe old age of like 24. And I said, "Can you believe this? She told me I dream too big." And she's like, "What other kind of dreams are there? Anything else is a nightmare."
True.
But okay. So we wanted to do all of this altruistic stuff, but at the heart of it, we were searching for situations to create a certain feeling.
Yeah, you wanted the love, you wanted to feel the respect and needed, wanted.
Adored. Adored. Let's just be honest.
Oh, well,
Adored, right? Like, I hate to say it. And this is the thing, like, we shun away from this. We try not to think about these things because it feels so selfish and this and that. But even when we're talking about doing all of these things for other people, there is a certain feeling that we are searching for. And
okay.
it's not just, I want to be looked at as this. No, you want to feel useful, respected, right? Adored, maybe even pseudo worshipped or something like that, right? Like there are things that we say that we're being selfless, but it's not selfless. There are certain feelings that come with helping others. And the thing that we don't want to admit is we want to shut up the haters. Right? Like how many people said, why are you pursuing that? You need to do something safe, blah, 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 whoop-de-whoop, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You heard it all the time.
Right?
Some of your biggest haters were the people closest to you.
Hello. Yeah. And we know the old adage, success is the best revenge. So if your resolution or goal is tied to a specific outcome, like get the recording contract, become a superstar, some may be afraid to even try, or they may self-sabotage because they're afraid of failure, not realizing if you're just honest with yourself, then it's not really the contract that you were searching for. So Rick, I remember before, for the last 15 years, you were telling me you hate your job. First it was, I ain't never gonna do this at this job. This is just temporary. I ain't never gonna do that. And you did the this and the that.
Right. And I did. I felt that way at first, that I wasn't going to be there too long because it wasn't really what I wanted to be doing. And I did. And I ended up being there longer.
Right.
And you told me that I probably, if I wasn't happy with it, then I should update my resume and find another job.
Right. And I said I would help you and that I would tweak your resume because I had done a resume writing workshop, et cetera, right?
Yeah, but I felt I said that I felt that I was too old to be trying to find another job at the time.
This was 15 years ago. And then once you retired, you finally admitted that you just didn't feel like going through the hassle.
No, I didn't.
Of finding another job.
No, because finding a job is a job. It's like, oh, Lord, have mercy. I mean, I didn't have headhunters knocking on my door saying, hey.
You should have.
Like maybe I should have, but I did.
You should have. And so if you had just been honest with yourself and said, it's not the fact that I think I'm too old necessarily. It's the fact that I don't want to go through the hassle of updating my resume, tweaking it every time I apply for a new job, looking for a job, another job. I just don't feel like going through that. Yeah. If you are honest with yourself, then you have to admit to yourself, okay, so if I don't feel like looking for another job, I have to stop complaining and just be content with where I am right now.
Well, I did stop complaining. I did. I didn't say it out loud.
That's why your voice is going up. But
I did.
I did.
I didn't complain out loud anymore.
Yes, he did. You have to take responsibility. Look. So how do we create a plan? How do we create goals and a plan that incorporates looking honestly at what we want and how to get there?
Before we do that, let's introduce ourselves.
Oh, so we're going to talk about it?
Yeah, you got us there now.
Hey, y'all. My name's Halisi.
And I'm Rick. Welcome to our Black Utopia.
On our channel, we talk about money, travel, retiring abroad, and actually living your best life as we build generational wealth.
Yes, wherever you are.
Yeah. But first, if you are new to our channel, then you may not know about 7.5 years ago, Rick and I got a wake-up call as we were getting close to retirement age. We looked at our money and it looked crazy.
Crazy.
It was actually quite depressing. But about 3.5 or so years ago, we got our financial act together and went from negative $22,000 to over $1.1 million in net worth as of today. And if we can do it,
you can do it.
You can do it too.
Yes.
You really can. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that right now. Hit that subscribe button. If you're watching from the future, hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so that you know every single time that we go live or drop a new video. And if you find this information compelling, hit the like. Let YouTube know that you want more of things like that. So we're going to talk about how we plan and how you should look at planning for 2024 being the best year of your life. We want this for you. I, I, I still pinch myself. Y'all.
Because where are we? How far are we away from the new year?
We are about 23 days away from the new year.
Oh my goodness.
And we are already talking about what we want 2024 to look like. Krishan's in Italy. She's in Italy, but she's still watching.
Hey, Krishan, I like your apartment.
Yeah, it is beautiful. So, we want you to have the best year of your life. So we're going to go through all of the steps and the thinking and the mindset, because half of the problem is not having the intellectual ability to do the thing. It is having the mindset. And then we're going to talk about some practical steps as well, right?
Yeah.
All right. So before we do that, let's say hello to the folks who are in the chat today. We love our family. So Eileen is going over to her daughter's house, I guess. Hey, Cassandra.
Hey, Cassandra. BJ.
Hey, B. Nice to see you in the chat. We love you. Karen Louise is in the house. Greetings, Alicia and Rick, and the Utopian community. Yes, time to prep for 2024. Yeah. Y'all, look, we don't know what's happening November, the first Sunday, I guess the first Tuesday, or is it the second Tuesday? When's election day? First Tuesday, I think. I don't know. First or second Tuesday in November. Let this year be the year that you get the life that you want. And by 2025, you there, right? Hola, happy to hear this. Yes, Auntie Trey. Hello, Maria. We got Mel and T in the house. Helen is in the house. Hola, hola. Jeanette, afternoon all. Hit the like button. Yes, please hit that like button. Yes. Grab your beverage of choice, and it's time to get school. Look, y'all, we're gonna try to keep this succinct, but you know how we roll. Hey, Vanessa, it's in the house. Hey there, good to see you.
I sent some information to you, Kendall.
Okay, so check your WhatsApps. Hey, Tanya, Meriton is in the house. Deborah is in the house. We love to see it. Hey, Black Women Build Wealth. So if you did not check out the interview that I did with Samara, check that out. Go ahead and put the information in the chat, but don't put a .com. Otherwise, it won't let you go through. Just spell it out, what your YouTube channel is, so they can check that out. Hey, JY Hardy, ABX Girl is in the house. Yes, good to see you. Diane is in the house. Helen from Wilmington, Delaware. Ooh, burr. Okay. How cold is it? And then Curtis is in Michigan. Y'all, look, you all know we are Californians. Well, Ohio, Californian, but we moved from Colorado. We are not missing the snow at all.
But it still gets a little cool and chilly, on your head out here.
Mike, you're in Lisbon. What's up? I didn't know you were in Lisbon. I didn't think you lived here. Are you visiting? What's up? Tell us what's up. Yeah. Hey, Professor. Good to see you. Professor, I just saw the notes that we took almost a year and a half ago. You know, I want to know what's going on. Hey, H-Town. I miss you. We need to do another Sangria Friday. Pinky is in the house. Ballerina's in the house. RJ, good to see you. Hey, Venus is in the... Greta.
Hey, Greta.
Good to see you. LXNC, FKA, Sexy Alex. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I ain't mad at you. Punisher 66. That's a new name. Yeah. Welcome. Louis. Yeah, Miss Cruz is in the house. We're so happy that you are here. Tell your kids I said, hey, girl, please. Clarence is in the house. Killer Queen, Rebel. this looks like a new name. Rebel Jade's Fire. My goal is to return to Portugal for part 2 of my scouting trip.
All right.
Yes,
Awesome.
yes,
Come
yes.
on. We'll leave right on.
If you're new here, welcome. If this is just your first time commenting or me seeing you, I'm sorry, but welcome. Star Mark is in the house. All right, Raw A, we love you guys. Black Widow, you know the routine. Put a Q in front of your questions. We are going to try and stay on topic today. So if you have questions about moving to Portugal or NHR or getting a visa or any of that stuff, it's probably in another video. But we're going to save those for the very, very last, all right? Because we want to stay on topic and keep this succinct. So if we didn't get to say hello, we love you. We see you in the chat, and we're going to get started. So New Year's resolutions, they fail. And they fail because people are not being honest with them. But mostly, if we look at it more pragmatically and objectively and less woo-woo, self-awareness, I think, like, when you think, I'm going to stop smoking, or I'm going to lose 15 pounds, or what's another one? I'm going to stop smoking is the big one.
That's always a big one.
Right? I'm going to lose some pounds. That's always a big one.
Smoking, losing weight.
Right? But it is unclear about the end result. It's unclear about the outcome, about the transformation that people want to see. And so instead of thinking of goals, instead we should think about goals. Instead we should think about goals rather than resolutions, right? Because a resolution tends to be short term. Mm-hmm. And goals, I like the definition from Better Up.
Dreams with a deadline.
Yeah. That's what goals are. And so Rick and I, throughout our marriage, have always sat down from time to time and come up with these long-term goals, right? Resolutions are usually short-term. I'm going to do this or I'm not going to do that, et cetera, et cetera. And sometimes it's hard to find the motivation in, I just want to stop smoking, unless the doctor is giving you some chronic diagnosis.
Yeah, but I mean, that doesn't always make it easy either.
And that doesn't make it always easy either. You're absolutely right. Yeah. And so we talk about goals and we talk about long-term goals and all of that. We've always had some pretty lofty goals. Yeah. I look at it. So for some of you who don't know my whole work history, you guys know that I retired from politics, but within all of that, for the past 20 years, I've been a strategist and I've helped small businesses grow. I help facilitate strategic planning sessions. And so I kind of approached our life like a strategic planning session. Rick didn't know that.
I'm a strategic plan.
But I go through the same steps that I help a company figure out where they want to be 5 years, 10 years from now. I applied that same structure to how we planned our lives, right? So the very first goal that we came up together was, and y'all have heard this before, what were we going to do when we retired?
We were going to we're going to buy an RV. Were we going to sell our house? We were going to sell a house.
I think we were going to sell
the house. We're going to sell the house. We're going to buy a nice, big, juicy RV. We were going to equip it with all the equipment we needed to shoot documentaries, and we were going to drive around the United States.
And maybe even Canada.
And we were going to film, and we were going to do documentaries on everything that we could think of.
That was our goal. And we actually started taking the steps towards that. Mm-hmm. But I'm not, to be perfectly honest, I'm not incredibly sure that I ever truly, truly believed we would get there. If I look back.
Okay, I did. I really did think that we would get there, but first we had to stop working.
And that's the part I didn't think we would get to, right? We didn't have that part figured out. And that's the thing. So we're going to crack the code on how you actually achieve the things. And part of this, I figured out after grad school, I have to be honest, because people have told me more recently, and to me, because I'm of a certain age, more recently is the past 20 years, is that, Halisi, one thing that I love about you is that you decide to do something and then you do it.
That's true.
Right? And because there's a code to how you decide what you want to do and what that long-term thing is going to be. And it's really easy. It's vision equals vision first, then you create your goals, and then you create your habits. Vision, goals, habits. That's the code. So let's start with the foundational work. Take out your pen and paper. Take out your pen and paper, folks. So the first thing is you want to identify your personal values. Some of them can be moral,
but not necessarily.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So some of them are not going to be moral. Like a value could be a sense of adventure or being adventurous. That's neither moral nor immoral. It just is, right? Honesty, integrity, and all of that stuff. Right. Could be considered moral. So don't think of values as something that has to be moral or immoral, right or wrong. It could just be something that you hold dear in your heart, something that you find value in, something that you want to prioritize in your life. Take the time to write out what your values are. So for us, they could include
family and friends, to be adventuresome.
I put down no, it's a real word.
Is it a real word?
Yeah, because spell check didn't check it.
That don't mean it ain't real.
I said adventurous.
I said adventuresome.
Because you thought adventurous meant more like
risk taking and doing this and just living on the edge type thing. And
extreme skiing, extreme sport. But for some folks, adventurous is just moving out of their home country.
Some folks, adventurous is just moving across the street.
Or moving out of their zip code,
True.
Right?
True.
And so what else?
Financial freedom.
Yes.
Authenticity and honesty.
And I want to pause here because, family and friends, being adventurous or adventuresome, financial freedom, those are all things that people, it's a little bit more easy to wrap your mind around. But when you think about authenticity and honesty, especially for North Americans, authenticity, when I say that, what I mean is that we no longer feel a need to put on airs.
Yeah.
And that we show up with who we are in that moment without feeling like we can't show who we really are because people will judge us, not like us, keep us from getting something that we want, or whatever the reason is, you have consciously or subconsciously made up in your mind, you cannot show up as your authentic self. If you can't show up at your authentic self and you can't be honest why you are putting on that mask, then it's going to be hard for you to really create goals and a vision that is authentic as well.
Yeah.
So getting back to the superstar thing, it really wasn't that we necessarily wanted to put up with the BS of the entertainment industry, and because singing was our lives, singing was the only thing that could bring us joy. It was the other stuff that you get from being a superstar, right?
And that's what made you put up with the BS.
That's what made you put up with the BS. Yeah. But really, it was the feelings that we were searching for. Right. So if you cannot be honest with yourself about what you really are trying, what you really, really want, without that judgment, get mama's voice out of your head. Get pastor's voice out of your head. Get best friend's voice out of your head. It is okay to want what you want. Period. The end. Right?
Doesn't mean you're always going to get it, but you can always work towards it.
Well, you will get it if you want to get it. Now, it might not look exactly honest about the feelings that you're trying to get and what it's going to take.
Yeah.
right? Because if you couple that with a certain outcome, like we said before, if you think the thing that you want is the recording contract, no, that's out of your control.
Right.
That is out of your control. So instead of looking at the recording contract, look at what you think will be the outcome of the recording contract. And that's the stuff that you should go after. So the goal can change, but the vision and all of that will not, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? So if we're looking for a feeling of respect, if we are looking at adoration, there's lots of ways to get there.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be
right.
a recording contract. So vision, goals, habits. You're going to identify your personal values, authenticity and honesty, and that's where we left off. You got to be authentic about what you really want, and if what you really want is to be adored, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. There is no one who should be telling you that is selfish, because everybody's selfish. It's funny because someone just told me, yeah, you are. Is someone just told me that, maybe this was, I can't remember. Maybe it was on the last interview that I did, when we're talking about, when someone's driving around a Ferrari or whatever, and when somebody sees it, they're not thinking, ooh, look at how Lacey in that Ferrari. Doesn't she look great? They're thinking about themselves. Ooh, I want one too. They have put me out of their mind. Right? So it's okay.
I look better in that Ferrari.
It's okay to be a little bit selfish. That does not mean that the selfishness means that you are going to step on your mama, step on anybody to get that feeling that you want. The two are not necessarily correlated. They are not. You can be a bit selfish and still be a giving person. And then one of our other ones is loyalty. That's big to me, right? If you're not authentic with yourself, then I can't trust the words coming out of your mouth. And if I can't trust the words coming out of your mouth, then I know you're not going to be loyal and still be my friend when stuff gets rough.
Yeah. That's very important.
Exactly. So, number one, for the foundational work, you're going to identify your personal values. Number two,
family and friends. Create personal vision statements.
Yeah, this is why you shouldn't pull that stuff in notes. It doesn't take in all the numbers and all that stuff.
This is my side. I'm being loyal to my side. Right?
Number two is create a personal vision statement. When I did strategic planning, I used to say, this is the BHAG. This is the big, hairy, audacious goal. This is a time for you to reach for what you don't think is necessarily reachable. And it should include your values. So for instance, you want to have a clear picture of what you want your future life to look like, a very clear picture of what you want your future life to look like. Your values should be implied through this vision. So we couple this with a vision board.
Yeah.
And we've had a vision board for the last almost 10 years.
Yeah, it's been a
right. And it was, we had I told y'all this before, but for those of you who are new, I'm going to repeat it. We had a physical vision board. It was one of those fold out things that you would use in presentations. And we threw it away when we moved here, but it was really interesting looking at it once we found it in storage or wherever the heck it was.
Yeah.
Because a good portion, like 90%, had come true. Already. And so this is what I'm talking about. When you have a clear vision, sometimes you are working towards that stuff when you don't even realize you are working towards that stuff. So you want to have a clear vision of what your future life looks like. And I remember there's several folks who have taken our Beyond the Bling who have said things like, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know where to start. They've said, I've forgotten how to dream. The opposite of that is being overly optimistic and never stop dreaming, right? And so the two have got to come together with practicality and dreaming. But if you have forgotten how to dream, I want you to take a deep breath and get everybody's voice out of your head, because usually when we have forgotten how to dream, it's because people have tamped down the kid visions that we had for our lives.
Yeah, we let those other voices
invade
our space.
Exactly. Like, for instance, I wanted to go to college. I had to go to college. Okay, so that was out. I had to go to college. In California, in Southern California, we have Cal Arts. It's a public school. It's dedicated to the arts. I wanted to go to Cal Arts. I wanted to major in music. Mm-hmm. And my mom's like, major in music? Who does that? I ain't paying for that. She could not fathom in her world, which is odd because she was a television producer, but she could not fathom someone majoring in music and actually making money or providing for themselves with that. It didn't occur to her that worst case scenario, I'm a music teacher. I'm a music professor. That didn't even occur to her, right? So we have to take other voices out of our head when we're creating this personal vision statement. So our personal vision statement looks something like this.
We want to live a life of adventure, travel, and consistent growth and learning while helping others. So,
we're basically doing that.
Yeah, we hope we're doing it. We hope we're helpful.
Yeah, that's definitely. Important. Definitely.
Don't want to be adored. Don't want to be adored.
So, yeah, we do.
No, I don't.
Yeah, we do.
I don't. Maybe she does.
Look, I asked him.
I want to be loved.
I asked him. So yesterday we had, if for any of you who are in Beyond the Bling, every second Saturday, Beyond the Bling is our financial freedom course, right? Money Mindset Makeover Financial Freedom. Every second Saturday we have group coaching. And yesterday we had our group coaching, and one of the participants said, Halisi and Rick, I just want to thank you so much. You are changing lives. You have changed my life, et cetera, something along those lines.
Yeah, it feels good. I loved it.
Exactly. Now, that's not to say that that's the whole reason we actually, y'all, we are on a mission. We are on a mission. Once we crack this code, it's like, oh my God, everybody has to know. I've always been community oriented, but that doesn't mean that I have to sacrifice my life and be poor and down out to do that. I want our community to actually understand how money works and to live the life of their dreams, of your dreams, right? Yeah. And if us doing this helps that, and we're having fun meeting people and doing all of that stuff, all the better.
We're going to keep doing it.
Right? But it's nice to get those compliments. It feels good, and it brings tears to my eyes. Look, he can say whatever he wants to say. I was getting teary, y'all. I was getting teary, and it makes me feel good that we're doing this stuff. See, I'm getting teary right now, and it actually is helping someone. So
you need a tissue.
I'm not gonna mess up my makeup. I'm not gonna mess up my makeup. All right, so we're gonna take a break, and we're gonna see what you guys are saying in the chat. But the foundation is identify your personal values, right? And then write your vision statement, which should have your personal values implied. All right. What are y'all talking about? Let's go back, Cassandra. The abundant giving reduces the stress and worry of the giver. If others are provided for, specifically family, one can reduce worry about them. That too is true.
Yeah, it's true.
That too is true, right? And so it still comes back to a bit of selfishness. And the thing about it is we are taught that, being selfish is bad. But the bottom line is, like I told my mom, look, it stresses me out that you won't let me help you.
Yeah.
That stresses me out. And so I'm looking out for my own mental, spiritual, physical health. And her stressing me out is going to kill me. It's going to kill me. So, all right, I'm going to go through and start. We were so busy giving information that I was not paying attention to. You want to put a Q in front of your question or a comment that you want everyone to see. And again, we're going to stay on topic. We're not going to talk about visas today and all of that stuff. Everyone who is listening to us does not necessarily want to move to Portugal or out of the country. If you don't want to move out of the United States or North America, my question is why? Why? Because look, y'all, it does not seem to be getting any better out there. So, okay, so we just answered that. Oh, did we? Oops. I don't think we did. I'm going to do a search for Cassandra again, one more time. Sorry, y'all.
I thought you did.
Hang with us. She had 2 right in a row. And I want to make sure that we honor the fact. Okay, I did that one. And here's the other one. We ask ourselves why we want stuff or the goal and how we expect to feel if the goal is achieved. Exactly. The biggest thing is how we want to feel. And this is not a Halisi Rick thing. And obviously I don't talk about feelings when we're doing strategic plannings for small businesses. This is a Stephanie Perry thing. She gave me that aha moment. And, and the bottom line is, one of the reasons why I went as an untraditional student to get a master's degree is because I didn't feel respected in my job. I wanted respect. And so I paid and got into debt to get that respect. Don't do that. Don't do that. I was a trauma specialist for 50 years. I want to relocate to Portugal and totally change my life to become a voice-over actor, audio book reader, a woman after my heart. Might there be an opportunities in Portugal? Okay, so we're not going to talk about Portugal. You don't want to come here. You don't want to go to a country that has a lower minimum wage and think about making money. Okay, so whether it's Portugal or Italy or Greece or Mexico or Ecuador or Panama, you do not, as an American, as a North American, because Canada is even more expensive than the United States, you don't want to go to a place where their minimum wage is lower, significantly lower than the United States minimum wage. Universal health care notwithstanding. There are certain things that Americans expect, and you are not going to be able to live like you want to live. So when it comes to voiceover and stuff like that, do you speak Portuguese?
Right, I was going to ask that question.
If not, why are you talking about doing that over here? Right? That doesn't mean that you can't be here or be in Ecuador or be in Panama or be in Colombia or be in, Kigali, Rwanda, and not do voiceover acting, because now it can be done online, right? And so we can talk about side hustles and things like that, and how to build your side hustle into a new career or what have you another time. We've talked about that before, and specifically with voiceovers. But I would, if I were you, Beverly, go ahead and find some Black authors who the publishing companies are not giving enough money to do audiobooks, and there are a lot of them. Find your favorite ones, reach out to them, and volunteer to do it for free 1 or 2 times so that you can build your reel, okay? But what we don't want to do is come to another country that has a lower cost of living and think that there's a job. That's so last century. That's not what we're doing today, all right, y'all? When you talk about your goals, when you talk about your resolutions, and when you think about how you want to do this, and if moving abroad is part of the thing, think about how you can make money in the country that pays the most while living where you want to live.
Right.
All right. Moving to another country to get a job, unless it is the UK, Amsterdam, or someplace like that, and then you're going to be back in the grind and hustle, maybe a little bit less because they have a different culture, but you're going to be clocking, you're going to be trading your time for dollars. We're not talking about trading time for dollars anymore. That's so last century. All right. We realized over the pandemic that we can work wherever we want to work and live wherever we want to live. Okay. All right. Okay. So we are going to keep going because we want to stay. We today we are talking about planning for 2024 so that you can live the life of your dreams. If you don't see yourself moving forward, why? Right? Those are the questions that we want. So, all right. And then we'll get to the other questions at the end. All right. So you're going to, the foundational work, ID your personal values, create a personal vision statement. Right. Number 3.
Create long-term and short-term goals.
So what is a goal? A goal is a dream with a deadline. Short-term goals are smaller dreams with a deadline. So goals should be the result of careful consideration of a personal vision statement, right? We just talked about that and the things you want to achieve. They should be time sensitive, right? And they should be large in nature. We talked about that BHAG, that big, hairy, audacious goal.
BHAG.
Yes,
okay.
That's business talk. So our first BHAG was that we could not, that seemed huge to us, was buy that RV, travel around the United States, and make documentaries. And we had a specific one we were starting out with based upon a book that my dad wrote. That morphed into traveling around the world and doing YouTube and not having to depend on showing up at somebody else's job, y'all.
Right.
Now, do we have 100% the financial freedom that we want? No, we don't. No, we don't. And so our next goal is going to be around increasing our net worth, not only our net worth, but cash flow. Why? Because like we were talking about, dealing with my aging parents and how money helps. When you think about everything, it usually comes down to money. We would not be traveling back to the United States to help my mom move if we had the money to pay somebody else to do it. Let me tell you. Right?
But even if you do have it, sometimes why? It's just as easy to go back and do it yourself on a lot of things.
That's true, but I don't want to go back to the United States and do it. And if I had the money to pay somebody else to do it, that's what I would do. That's what I would do. Okay. Like you have to be honest with yourself and not feel bad that you don't want to deal with certain things. And if money can handle it, that's what I'm going to do. So your long-term goal may be the financial freedom to never have to worry about money again, right? To never have to worry about money again. That's what I want. That is part of our long-term goals, is to never have to worry about money again. And that means when mom, dad, kids are really up against the wall, we can throw money at that thing and still do our not cancel a trip,
right,
not travel back to a country that we have no desire to be in, or any of that other stuff. They say money doesn't buy happiness. I say only rich people say that nonsense. Now, there is a certain point where you get diminishing returns. If you've got a cash flow of $1 million a year, if you've got a cash flow of $400,000 or $500,000 a year, you're not going and you went from 250 to 500. You're not going to be double as happy necessarily, right? When you get to the big, especially if you're not spending it all, right? But anybody who says money doesn't buy happiness is rich already, and they're trying to get you not to be rich too, so that they can feel better than you. That's some baloney. That's some nonsense. I want everybody who's in this chat, everybody watching from the future, to have at least as much as we have, if not more, if not double. That's what I want. And seeing my community free from the tyranny that is the United States, that would bring me joy too. Ooh.
What?
I'm just thinking about all of these Black folks who are free from that nonsense.
Okay.
I'd be doing this.
Happy.
I'm doing my happy dance. All right. Long-term goals. For instance, financial freedom to never have to worry again. Short-term goal. So what we do is we sit there, we look at our vision statement that we had before, how we want to see our lives, right? Some of that is happening now. There's still more to go. A long-term goal may be 5 years out for us, 5 years out. So 5 years out, the financial freedom to never have to worry again. Then you back that stuff up, back it up. And you say, okay, short-term goal this year, I want to invest $10,000. I want to, $10,000 this year.
Yeah. Then you have to decide on habits that will move you towards that.
Exactly. Yeah. Because what is the code? Vision, goals, then habits. Yeah. Once you have your goals, now here's the thing. People start with the resolution stuff. That's the habits. And they start with that. They start with the habits without thinking about
thinking it through.
Exactly. Or what their life would look like. Like if you saw yourself and you say, okay, if I stop smoking, then I'll be able to get back into rock climbing or get back into jogging, then maybe they'd be motivated to stop smoking. But they just start at stop smoking, be healthier. For what? Like if smoking brings you joy, and we've heard people say that.
Oh yeah.
Right? They be smoking with them oxygen masks on.
I've seen it. I've seen it. People here. I've seen it. Walking up a hill with an oxygen mask with a cigarette in their hand.
Right? And
it's like, oh my goodness.
And we've heard people say you gotta die somehow. Yeah. I enjoy smoking to justify, right? Because they have not been honest with themselves to say what they really want. And what they really want are certain feelings. If they think about just the vehicle to get there, the recording contract, then it gets scary because so much of that stuff is out of your control. But if you can be honest with yourself and say what you really want, right? And I know we have always wanted to just travel around and just be exposed to all of these different cultures and see all of these things that we've wanted to see and continue to learn. We're learning Portuguese. I'm still learning Spanish and studying that and all of that stuff. And all of that is within our control.
Yeah.
Right? So we are going to create those habits.
Yeah.
Don't confuse habits with goals, right? So don't confuse habits with goals. Your habits should be weekly or daily. So if your goal is to get healthier, and the short-term goal is to lose 15 pounds this year, for instance, and then you go to you get your gym membership. You sign up for the, what's those really hard classes that I used to hate? Cross training. Yes. You sign up for the cross training class. I remember the first cross training class I took, I thought I was going to puke. And I was in pretty good shape at the time.
You thought you were in pretty good shape.
No, I was in pretty good shape for my age and all that.
Thought you were in pretty good shape.
Honey, trying to follow that 24-year-old male up and down them stairs in 90-degree heat. I thought I was going to puke. But my blood work and everything else said I was in pretty good shape for a 40-year-old. That was not fun. And I quit. I didn't want to do that anymore. So you want to start off with habits that you feel are easy, right? So that you can achieve short-term wins. You want to start off with habits that...
Yeah, you don't, start off with habits that in an exercise situation, not something, don't try to do 100 push-ups.
Right.
Do 5, do 10 and work your way up. And that's in anything you do a little bit and work your way up to where you get used to doing it. Because if you overdo something, you're not going to want to come back and do it again.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, I don't want. I'm aching, I'm sore, this hurts, I don't want to do that.
Exactly. Yeah. You want to start off with habits that don't consume more time than you want to give. Okay. Because you'll stop. You'll stop. So they need to be, your habits need to be easy. Do not consume more time than you are willing to give to it.
Right.
It has to be a habit that you actually want to do. This seems so simple, but you would be surprised. People like, I'm gonna get in shape. I'm gonna go to CrossFit or whatever it's called, every day. And then by the end of the week, they're like, we do this, and they don't tell nobody. They just stop doing it. Right. And so instead of doing that, turn on the YouTube channel, right? Do a 6-minute workout. Do a 6-minute workout every day. And I bet you'll come back.
Something is better than nothing. Just
exactly.
A little bit goes a long way.
Exactly.
Create a system to eliminate excuses.
Right.
Because boy, we'll make him, well, I got to do this. I ain't gonna lie. Every Tuesday, I stress. Because Tuesday is our language lesson. And I always stress because I always feel like, okay, God, here we go. Instead of looking at it in a certain way, in a better lightness, I just think how bad I'm going to do or how bad I'm going to sound or something like that. And then when I get in the lesson, then my whole attitude changes. But it seems like I always get to that point. It's like, oh God, and then I'm fine.
So we set a goal, a habit of practicing 10 minutes a day. We had marked off 10 to 15 minutes a day before, but then we do it for an hour and then he'd get frustrated and not want to do it the next day. We do it in 10 minutes, in 10 minutes, in 10 minutes, and it would never happen. So this year, we are in 2024 and starting tomorrow, we are going to create that habit of setting the timer. And when the timer goes off in 10 minutes, that's it. We're not going to do any more. Mm-hmm. And then maybe we can increase that by 1%, the level up, right? Increase it by 1% a week or a month, quarterly, or however you want to look at it, maybe even daily. So today we do 10 minutes, tomorrow we do 11 minutes, the next day we do 12 minutes or something like that. So, if your excuse for working out is after work, I have to go home and I have to change clothes, I have to do this, I have to do that. Maybe what you start doing is keeping your gym bag in the car. Figure out the excuses you're going to give yourself and create some systems to eliminate those excuses. So if the goal is to invest $10,000 a year, like I said, then that's $833 a month, $415 per paycheck if you get paid twice a month. Set it on auto. Just set it on auto. Because if you're anything like us, we used to say, once all the bills are paid off and the this and the that and the other, and at the end of the month, right before we get paid again, we're going to do X, Y, Z. How'd that work out, sweetheart?
Yeah, it didn't, because you always had nothing left, and then you had to say, "Well, next time."
Exactly, next time.
Next time. Okay, I missed this. Next one, I'll get that for sure, and then it happens again.
Exactly. So, so the resolution of stop smoking, right? If one of the habits to get healthier, if your goal is to get healthier, that's part of your vision statement to get healthier, and you want to stop smoking, right? And you realize that happy hour is your trigger. You have your margaritas and then you go outside for a smoke because you can't smoke some bars, maybe in some parts of the country, you can still smoke in bars. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe down south, I don't know. Maybe what you do then is start skipping happy hour. Or if it's the alcohol part, then you have a mocktail instead of a cocktail, right?
Yeah.
So you've got to create systems that will eliminate your excuses for not doing the thing that you want to do. And you've got to ask yourself, if you're not doing the thing, you got to ask yourself why. Maybe it's because that habit doesn't directly tie back to what the life that you want to live, right? So you got to ask yourself, do I really want to do this thing? Is this the vision? Then it's time to go back and reevaluate. Are you being totally honest with yourself about what you really want in life? And it's really easy for other people's vision of our life to become our vision for our life. And then we wonder why we're not achieving it.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
So each month you want to evaluate your progress. If you're not seeing the type of progress or not sticking to the habits, ask yourself, what is it? What's going on?
Yeah.
So
is there a better way?
Exactly.
Constantly, is there a better way to achieve a goal? It helps to have accountability partners, or a
Yes.
partner,
Yes.
someone that you respect and respects you, not a yes person, not
No.
somebody who's going to agree with everything
No.
and anything you do because they want you to like them
Exactly.
or remain their friend, sometimes saying, yeah, you don't need to do that.
Exactly. So I have an accountability partner. It's not about health or anything like that. It really is about achieving the financial part of our goal. So, like we said before, Rick and I couple the vision statement with a vision board. Some people are very visual and you want to see, a visual representation. I have a digital vision board that is my wallpaper on my computer and on my phone. A visual representation of the life that I want. We've got the life that we want 80%.
It's a work in progress.
Exactly.
But it's a work in progress going in the right direction.
Exactly.
And I mean, you're my accountability partner. And
that helps.
It helps a lot.
But if you're single, or if your partner is not on the same page, if not, why not? Like y'all, if you are partnered up, you really need to be doing this as a partner. And so we're having a vision board party in our Fire Over 50 Facebook group. You don't have to be over 50, but you do have to be a member of the African diaspora. So that's Facebook Fire Over 50. If you don't have a profile picture that shows you are from the diaspora, it's going to take a long time for you to get access into the Facebook group. But we're going to do this before the holidays and show you how we create a digital vision board. In that Fire Over 50 group, you can also find your accountability partner.
Yeah.
Right? So I found my accountability partner in another Facebook group. So let this Facebook group be a launch for your 2024 dream life. Okay, thank you from Temple. I don't know where Temple is. I want to say it is in Tennessee. Temple. I know Temple University. Thank you so much for your tutelage. You're so welcome. And thank you, Word Up Psychotherapy. I got caught up in trying to figure out where Temple was. Thank you for your tutelage and for everything you do. Thank you for all of the magnificent ways you revealed the North Star to me. Portugal, September 2024. All right. And thank you for the super chat or super sticker. Y'all know every super chat and super sticker money goes to our scholarship fund for Beyond the Bling, Money Mindset Makeover for Financial Independence. I know that I have about 2 or 3 people in my inbox that have asked for a scholarship. Give me some time. I'm trying to see where we're at with that. If you want a scholarship, I don't need to hear like your reasons for needing the scholarship. What I want to hear is what you hope to get out of Beyond the Bling. Okay, so I can make sure that what we offer is going to give you what you want. All right, and I'm just going to trust that you can't afford it, and this would be the only way for you to participate. All right. Okay. So let's go back and see if there are any other questions about setting goals, about 2024. Look, y'all, we are at 34,000 subscribers. And I remember when I told Rick back in January 2022, I said, we are not at our fire number yet. but I got to quit because these folks are driving me crazy and they're killing me and I'm not going down with the ship. And he was like, well, we just got to do what we got to know. We don't. No, we don't. And I showed him
sound like that.
because how do I sound? How do you make me sound? He pokes out his lips like this when he's imitating me. Woo! You make me sound goofy.
Look at you.
So anyway, you know, the math was mathing, but we were definitely not at our fire number. And I remember saying, look, you know, we can start supplementing and having the money to do our travel stuff from what we make through YouTube, et cetera, et cetera. He's like, it's going to take years to get to that.
Hey, I ain't know. You don't know what you don't know till you know.
If you say it's going to take years, it's going to take years. I was like, I'm giving us until September. We launched March 2022. I was giving us until September 2022 to get monetized. We got monetized before 4th of July 2022 because we had the vision.
Yeah.
Right? We put the habits in place. One of the habits was 95 to 98% of the time, we are going live on Sundays at 3:30 Eastern time. Period. The end. No matter where we are or what we're doing.
Yeah, sure.
And so, and as you know, instead, you know, sometimes the holidays and this and that, and I think we've missed like 4 Sundays since we launched March 2022. And then here we are, December 2023. We just hit 34,000 subscribers. So thank you so much. It's been a whirlwind.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a whirlwind, but we appreciate you all. And hopefully, I'm going to assume that those numbers mean that we are bringing you value. That's what I'm going to assume. So it's 44 degrees in Florence right now. It's so someone asked about the weather here. It was foggy and rainy, but not cold. So
61 degrees.
Yeah, 61 degrees. It really was not cold. So I just had on a t-shirt and a very light jacket when I took the doggie out for her walk, and I was fine. So, and even in the evening, even yesterday evening, we took the train down to Oeiras, and I just had a jacket on over my pajamas. And when I say a jacket, not a coat, not a winter coat, but like a rain jacket. And I was fine. I was not cold at all. So SK asks, how far in advance would you say to start planning for your move? It depends. And here we go back to goal setting. So what I like to do is give myself a deadline first and then work backwards from that. Because you can get, you can take 2 months. You're going to need, like, it depends on where you're moving. But for Portugal, there's certain things that you have to do. And if you haven't been here before, the first thing is to visit, because 1, you don't know if you like it. And 2, you might get a no. There's a bigger chance of you getting a no on your visa if you've never been here. That's not the case for Mexico, right? So I said in January, actually during the holidays 2021, we set a goal. We were going to be in Portugal by June.
Yeah.
So 6 months. Now, we already were kind of planning, but we were planning for 2025, 2026, something like that.
For the actual move. Yeah.
Right? Then it moved up to like 2024, and then it moved up, and then it moved up, right? So the first thing is to set that deadline and then work back from there. So to me, I said June, and if we had to sell our house, it would have looked a lot different than how we did it. But I knew what we had to do to get out of Colorado by June 2022. Mm-hmm. And I knew that we would have the luxury of finishing some things later, but I needed to get out. We needed to get out, and so those are the things that you have to think about. Are you willing to come back a year later and finish some stuff? We didn't sell our house. We had family living in our house. And so that gave us a little bit more leeway. If you have to sell your house, then you've got to take that in consideration. If you don't own a house, then you've got to take that into consideration, right? And so I don't think that there is a set and fast rule. And it also depends on where you want to move. So look at the visa process, look at what the requirements are. How much time do you have to dedicate to this? And then when do you want to be out, and work backwards from there and see if it's feasible. Anything you want to add to that, sweetheart?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
How did you both get the strength to move and stay on track?
Communicate, communicate, communicate.
That's one thing. But I want to add to that you have to have the vision for your life in your mind.
Yeah, it's true.
Because it gets hard, especially I was transitioning out of my job, trying to train someone else, taking some workshops to figure out this whole YouTube thing. You know, I was 56, 57 at the time, whatever. I didn't grow up with this. Like, I mean, we've been around since YouTube has been around, obviously, but I never really considered it. So I got coaching. I took the shortcut. I got coaching from people who knew what they were doing, and realized that a lot of what I learned in business school translated. I just needed to see how it translated. So I think that once we envisioned the life that we wanted and got committed to that and saw that, that was the motivation that we needed to find the strength when you tired and wore out to stay on track.
Mm-hmm.
One of the other things, Laura, if you're newer to our channel, but you may have heard us say that when we had the call with the financial planner, or the meeting with the financial planner back in 2017, 2018, something like that, early 2018. I don't know. Have we been to Europe already for that trip when we met with him?
Yes, I think we did.
Okay, so that's 2018 then we had that meeting. And Rick walked out so depressed, and I walked out like, that's motivation as well, right? Like, so that notion that he was painting for our lives, the notion that we were going to be struggling, that we were only going to have like $40,000 a year to live on in the United States, in Denver, Colorado, which is almost as well, it's at least 2/3 as expensive as LA. That's poverty level in Colorado, especially in Denver, 40,000 a year, right? All of those scenarios that he painted for us, it was so depressing. It was like, oh no, that is not the vision that I want. So that was motivation for us to start getting out of debt, to take control of our finances, and
retirement wasn't an option, pretty much.
It really wasn't. Not if we wanted to have any dignity with our lifestyle and be happy. So once you start looking at your situation honestly and not be overly optimistic. And when I say overly optimistic, my thing was, well, I'll just make double the money in the next few years. But that doesn't mean that I was going to save that money and invest that money, or we just continue on in our bad habits of spending everything that we got. So that was also motivation to get out of debt. And once we started seeing those credit cards get eliminated, and then we used 45 stimulus check to pay off the rest of it, it was like, okay, where we at now? What we gonna do?
Get out of it.
Now we start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. You've got to create those short wins, and that's why the way I attacked our debt was to pay off the smallest one first. And just not having to do that one extra payment brought me joy, right? And then, once we decided we are on this FIRE journey, a financial independence, retire early journey, the feeling that I used to get from buying a new pair of shoes at Nordstrom's, I would get from buying more stock. I would get that same joy from buying more stock. So what is the feeling that you are trying to achieve? Because there's more than one way to get that. I learned to visualize and act like my goals have already manifested. Hello. Hello, my vision board is dynamic and flexible because sometimes you got to take a detour to get back on the main road to your goals.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes,
So
yes.
true. So
And
true.
so for those of you who are newer, then you might not have heard, like before, there's a couple of things. Before we moved here, I had an index card. It was on our mirror, right? And it said, I am so happy that Rick and I are living abroad. At that point, I didn't know if Portugal was going to be the place, are living abroad and are financially independent. And I looked at that every day. And then the other thing, once we had made this decision, but there were so many things up in the air, I would visualize literally every day receiving the calls, receiving the email saying, your visa is approved, and feeling that feeling that I had when our visas were approved. Yeah. Feeling it before it even happened, and living in that, like embodying it, right? Getting that call saying, we've got a place for your dad. Don't worry about it. It's all good. And it's within your budget.
And it happened.
Like my aunt thought I was crazy. How you book a flight to June and you don't even know what's happening with your dad? And here it is, May. You still don't know what's happening. Oh, but you leave in June for yes, we are.
Yeah, that's honest.
Yes,
goodness truth.
Right? Yes, ma'am, we are. And it happened, right? And so don't I don't want to seem woo-woo or into New Age or this or that for those of you who identify as Christian, but it all goes hand in hand. You can call it faith. You can call it whatever you want. But the word says faith of a mustard seed, right? What is faith of a mustard seed? That means that you are envisioning that this thing has already happened. It's having faith in the unknown, having faith when you don't see in front of you what you want manifested. All right. It all goes hand in hand. You can call it what you want. Okay. What is the next one? What are some of the factors that ultimately caused you to choose Portugal as opposed to Mexico? Just places we wanted to travel to.
Yeah.
A lot more of where we wanted to travel is on this side of the world. It's like, like we're going to South Africa in February. For the two of us, for the round trip ticket for the two of us, cost the same amount that we paid way back in 2008, 2009, the last time we were there, for one ticket. So we paid today in 2023 half of what we paid for one ticket from 10 years ago, plus 10 years ago, right? So, and the same with, Asia. There's a lot. We haven't been to Asia. We want to go to Asia. We want to see more of Europe, etc. And so it was just more advantageous to be in Europe.
Yeah, we're right here.
Yeah. Why Portugal as opposed to any other place in Europe? It has to do with the fact that Portugal is very diverse. We blend in here, and they have a shorter path to citizenship.
Kendo. Exactly.
I'm just saying. Like you ask how many people in poverty are happy, especially in the US. I do believe there are unmet needs here that I would do if I came here when I was younger. Creating a vision board, I think, and creating board and care facilities might be an opportunity for an entrepreneur. Indeed.
True. Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah, we retire. We ain't doing all that work. But if you are someone who is entrepreneurial, there is definitely an opportunity here in Portugal. I gotta show this. When people say money doesn't buy happiness, I say, let me find out for myself. Right?
I hear you.
Right?
I won't know.
Exactly. Carlotta, you said possibly. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm just gonna put this one up. I just desire more, but don't to leave my state or country. How can I achieve this?
don't want,
I
to
think
leave
that's
the
what you.
state or country.
So the process is the same, no matter whether you want to move or not. It's just going to cost you more. If you are in the United States or in Canada, it's going to cost you more, and so that means you're either going to have to make more, or it's going to take longer, right? But the process is still the same, right?
Yeah.
You spend less than you take in. You take that. You got to get debt free. First of all, you've got to have a strong emergency fund, a healthy, nice, healthy emergency fund, so you can stay out of debt and not get back into debt. And then you've got to save and invest the money that is not spent on expenses. Okay, it's as simple as that. You know, grandma said, live under your means. And I thought that meant just have all your bills paid. No, what it means is if you bring in $20,000 a year, you best be only spending $15,000 a year. And that $5,000 a year is going
Saving and investing.
You're saving, investing in future you, in your future life. When people say pay yourself first, I didn't understand that. What they should have been saying is pay your future self first. Pay into your future life first. Pay into your dreams first. God bless you. Yes, do not confuse habits with goals. The goal is what keeps you motivated. The goal should be in line with your vision statement. Our vision is to live an adventurous life full of wonder and joy, where we travel around, we're constantly learning new things, new cultures, etc., and at the same time helping people realize their dream life. That's our vision for our life, right? And so every goal that we have should be towards that vision. Now, the vision can be tweaked along the way. As you learn more, know more, et cetera, it can be tweaked. It's not written in stone. It is not written in stone. The only thing that's probably written in stone are your core values. A question that kept me straight on my financial goal: is this conduct or decision a part of the recipe for poverty or wealth building? And go forward. I love it. I love it. Okay, Mike is a digital nomad. Okay, love it. Documenting an authentic, honest vision for yourself is necessary and rewarding. We also find that revisiting our vision often is helpful for reminding us of why we are doing this, why you want to stop smoking, why you want to lose that 15 pounds, why you are forgoing the Nordstrom shoes and putting that money instead into the stock market or into your savings account to invest in some real estate or something like that, or into your emergency fund, or paying off that debt, right? That's why visioning is so important. Take the time every day, whether it's in the shower, whether it's on your walk, your jog, whatever, your drive to work, if that's what you're doing. Take the time to envision what you want your future life to look like. Mm-hmm. And then you will know why you're making small sacrifices today.
Yeah. What do you want for future you?
Exactly. Because I'm telling you, sometimes it is hard when my doctor said, oh, you're going to be giving up this and giving up that. But it's like, chocolate brings me joy. But it's not going to bring me joy if 10 years from now, I can't do the walking tour because I've got gout or some such nonsense, right? So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am in Beyond the Bling. I have to do some catch up. Okay, Maria, because have I seen you in the group coaching? Have we seen Maria? I don't know. You know, I be calling out folks, y'all. I love you guys. Don't even sweat if I'm calling you out. It's okay. I've been unable to make the second Saturday. There you go. And I'm able to watch. Yes, you are able to watch the replays. If you are new to Beyond the Bling Every single live Q&A/group coaching is in there from the very beginning. There's almost a year's worth in there. And you should go back and watch them because some of your questions may already be answered. We go over things. On yesterday, we went over what we're looking for investing in independent companies as opposed to an index fund/mutual fund, right? What we are looking for in companies, how we find them, et cetera, et cetera. So at some other point, we went over PE ratios. We had my stepmother on there talking about investing and how much time it takes out of her month, et cetera. So go back and watch all of the live Q&As. If you cannot make a live Q&A, there is a community. Look in there. You are enrolled in the community. And every month I send out an email and remind you, if you can't make it, but you have some questions, put those questions in the community and we will make sure that we answer them so that when you watch the replay, your questions will get answered as well. So there's no such thing as catch up. The other thing is, when we're talking about these habits and the things that we want to achieve, if it's not on your calendar, you're probably not going to do it. So when Rick and I got serious about our financial situation, you said, we've got to put it on our calendar. And we put it on our calendar every Sunday from like 3 to 5. We went over our financial stuff, what we were learning about financial independence, what we were learning about the stock market, etc. And we go down in that basement and we go over it.
Yeah. Communicate.
Exactly. So put it on your calendar. Okay. Will a windbreaker and light sweater be enough for the summer? Oh, you don't even need that.
Yeah. This should be fine.
Bring it because sometimes at night it may get a little cool, but more often than not, you're going to be taking it off. I, having been in Colorado for 20 years, I believe in layers. So I always have a jacket with me because sometimes, like, even if you go into a restaurant or something and they have air condition, you'll come out of the heat because it'll stay warm at night in the summertime here in Portugal, here in Lisbon anyway. But then you go into a restaurant or something and it's cool. And I don't like that. So I always have a jacket with me. I always have a scarf just in case in those times. But yeah, I get so discouraged when I have a setback with my goals. How do you respond and work through distractions and barriers? When you say you have a setback with your goals, is that something like, okay, I am committed to putting, $200 a month into my retirement fund. And then something happens and you can't do it that month. And you have to turn off the automatic and take that 200 and fix your car, take out that 200 and pay for your, how health insurance doesn't cut deductible. So it depends. Like, okay, for that scenario, I would have to back up and say, maybe my first goal should be having a healthier emergency fund, right? So you've got to ask what the setback is and how you can avoid that setback. That's number one. Number two, make sure that you are celebrating short-term wins. So sometimes, like if the goal is getting healthier. So for me, this past, since I went to the nutritionist almost 7 days ago, I have eaten vegetarian for 5 out of 7 days. Now, it's supposed to be 6 out of 7 days. Hey, I had meat every day before that. So I'm going to celebrate the fact that I have 5 out of 7 days. If the thing is to get healthier for whatever reason, and I work out every day for 6 minutes, I'm going to celebrate that because 6 minutes is better than no minutes.
Yeah.
And then the third thing to think about is your why. Just like Howard's Worldview said, what is your why, right? If your why is not motivating you, if the setback is a personal decision and not something from the outside, right? Like a deductible or something like that, then you need to ask yourself, are you really working towards what you really want? Is this something that you really want to be doing?
Mm.
And if it's not, it's okay to change your mind.
Don't beat yourself up about it, though. Don't get discouraged.
Yeah, because that's going to set you back as well.
Right.
Right. So show yourself grace. Definitely. Definitely. Our goal was summer 2026. It looks like summer 2025 now because it's going to get ugly. Y'all, this next election might determine the future of the United States of America and hence the world. There was a time when the folks in Germany did not realize that they were having their last real election. That's all I'm saying. If you want to hear more, go back and look at the video that we did about leave before the next inauguration. I don't know. I'm looking at what I'm seeing in some of the headlines, and I am concerned for my home country.
Rainy.
Yeah, it rains in the wintertime here, but it's not necessarily cold. Happy holidays. Thank you for inspiring us, challenging us, and keeping us informed. You're so welcome, Ali E. Seems like a new name. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Life is so short yet beautiful, but the freedom of choice is priceless, right? And it's interesting because back in my other life, y'all know I was involved in politics, and even before that, my whole thing was money. Money. I want my community to have economic equity. Economic equity, because all of the other things depend on money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It all depends on money. And money equals freedom, money equals choices. I remember Adelia Borchade of Picky Girl Travels the World, when she had taken a teaching job in, maybe it was Kuwait, one country over there, like Kuwait. It might have been Kuwait. And after month 2, she was like, deuces, y'all. I'm out. And some of her colleagues were feeling the same way, but did not have the economic wherewithal to quit and fly back to wherever they were flying back to. So she looked around and she's like, I never want to be in that position ever, ever again. She wasn't in that position at that moment, but there was a time in her life that she was in that position. And she's like, no. You want to make sure that you have the money to be able to live the life that you want and to have the choices and to say F you to a situation. Yeah. Happy holidays. Thank you for inspiring. Okay. Just read that. Sorry about that. Do you have Christmas theater like Nutcracker and Shenyang in Lisbon? Yes, we do. Mm-hmm. This is a cosmopolitan city, y'all. This is the capital of Portugal. And so there's lots of theater and all of that, both in the classical stuff as well as more experimental theater and things like that. There's small theaters, there's the big, and everything in between.
There's a lot going on. Right, a lot that goes on. What are you reading? Yeah.
ASAP. I would save more. But there's going to be time. Like if you make that decision today and you try to get an appointment, the appointment's going to be a month out plus, because that's number one. And then there's going to be you've got 4 months to get in country. If you've never been here before, you have to come here first. If you have already been here and you can speak to that, then ASAP. Save more money though. did you and Rick use this process to attract each other? I didn't know about this stuff back in those days.
Mm-mm.
And I'm trying to think if I had pieces of this back in those days. I've always been a dreamer. I've never been that person who didn't have a long-term goal or dream. Like I said, when I was 24 years old, a friend's mother told me, Halisi, your problem, this is unasked for advice. Your problem is you dream too big. So I've always had visions for my life that were bigger than I could see before me. But I don't know, like with, manifestation and all of that, I didn't learn about that until, 2010 or something like that. And we had already been together for years by that time. But I was smart enough to recognize a good man when I saw him, because I'd already had the bad ones. I knew what that looked like.
Oh, thank you.
I knew what that looked like. And you too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely.
All right now.
All right. Cool.
That's right. That's right.
Take it. Take it. Take it.
Definitely take it and take that. So that means you can take 1% off of what you were doing and put that towards your emergency fund or something like that. That's also a choice that you can make. Our trip to Portugal in February will include a day trip to Spain.
Okay, cool.
Where are you coming in Portugal? I suppose you could fly out like at the 6 a.m. flight. Get there at like 7:30.
What is
right
it?
up north.
Vigo.
Yeah, or you're in the Algarve and you're going to go to like Sevilla or someplace like that. But if you're in Lisbon, it's a 2-hour flight. So I suppose you can get there at like 9 and then fly out at the last flight. I mean, it's not expensive.
Because the flight to.
But I would try for 2 days at least. It's a beautiful country. I wouldn't want to live there, but it's beautiful. I'd love to visit. It's a lot of fun. Plus, I can practice my Spanish. I was told once that habits are developed in 21 days. Yeah, 3 weeks. Doing the act, whatever that is for you, for 21 days will increase the likelihood of you maintaining that habit. Absolutely. I've heard the same thing. I don't know if it's true for everybody, but I've definitely, high vibe, have heard the same thing. All right, y'all. So if financial independence is part of your 2024 plan, and you are not enrolled in Beyond the Bling, and you have no idea, if it's part of your 2024 plan, but you don't know how you're going to get there, then the question is, why aren't you enrolled in Beyond the Bling, Money Mindset Makeover for Financial Independence? If anyone is in there and want to attest to its value in the chat, please do so. What we are teaching is what we learned to do what we did without the mistakes.
Right.
Right? Without the mistakes.
Save you some time.
And save you some time. You want to take shortcuts, folks. The price will be going up in 2024. If you know someone who would value Beyond the Bling, you can gift it. For the holidays, instead of buying stuff, give them the gift of financial freedom. If you know someone who is thinking about Portugal, but they don't know how they're going to get there, give them the gift of the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit replays. They're less expensive now for an all-access pass than it was before, because obviously it's not live and you don't get to ask questions live. But it's still, you can see all of the replays, everything from what it takes to get a visa to how to open a business, to hearing from Black folks that live all around the country, etc. We're going to have a vision board party in the Facebook group. So if you're not part of the Fire Over 50 Facebook group and you're part of the African diaspora, sign up. It's free. It's free. And you will find like-minded folks, most of whom do want to move out of the country, some who do not, but everyone is on their path to financial freedom. And this is going to be the liberation. This really, financial freedom is Black liberation. Seriously, folks. because once you have financial freedom, all the care, it doesn't matter what the Karens say. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about the microaggressions at work, because you can say, you know what, peace out.
Yeah.
Peace out. I'm not doing that.
Vigo.
Oh, he is going to Vigo.
So you'll
okay.
be in Porto.
Oh yeah, so you can just drive.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're not concerned right now. We're no more concerned about Putin than you are right now. But that's why we have permanent residency in Mexico, because this world is in flux, right? We are in flux right now. We are at that 100-year mark from the last big, huge shift on the planet. And I'm not talking about physical shift, but sociological shift, geopolitical shift. And so, no, someone in their 20s is not too young for Beyond the Bling. And so that's why we have legal residency in 2 different countries in 2 different parts of the world. But yeah, Portugal, like during Napoleon, Portugal was a strategic country. I'm not so sure it is anymore right now, right? It's a beautiful country. To me, it's magical.
And he's got to come through the EU if you're talking about Putin.
Yeah,
there's a whole lot to it.
There is a whole lot to it. You notice that he hasn't touched any EU countries yet. Do I need to pay down my debt before starting Beyond the Bling? No. Part of Beyond the Bling is about getting debt free. Maya's got her passport. All right now. All right, y'all. So I think we did it. I'm going to just run over it one more time. Foundationally, right? What do you need to do? You need to make sure that you have your personal values in line, right? Make sure that you know exactly what your personal values are. Take time to do that. You need to create a personal vision statement. That vision statement should be big. It should be a far reach. It should be something that, like, having a personal vision statement of, I want to pay off my house. I mean, maybe for somebody that's big, but y'all, we can dream bigger than that. Dream bigger than that. All right. So have something that seems like a reach, that seems like a stretch. The vision statement that I always used to refer to is when John F. Kennedy said, "Put a man on the moon and bring him back safely by the end of the decade." It's timely. It was, at the time, it was like, there's no way it's going to happen, right? People, they've been killing folks out there, exploding machinery out there.
They were
right?
killing more animals than anything.
Right. Exactly. So that was a big, hairy, audacious goal, right? And so your vision should be what you, like, back when you were a kid, what did you want that to look like? And don't make it so specific that things are out of your control, like get the recording contract. I mean, it can be that can be part of it, but it has to be beyond that. Once you get the recording contract, then what, right? Then what? So make it something that is beyond what you can imagine. And I bet you, because this life that we are living 10 years ago, I could not have imagined could come true.
Never thought about it. Yeah.
We thought about living abroad, but I don't think we thought about it in terms of it really becoming a reality. So once you've got that personal vision statement, you're going to create your long-term and short-term goals. And then you are going to start creating the habits to get you towards those goals. Okay, those daily habits and those monthly habits, those weekly habits, all right, to get you towards those goals, whether it's automating your money, whether it's doing your 6-minute workout, whether it's avoiding happy hours so you can stop smoking, or everything in between. Yeah. All right.
Getting the habit up.
Yes. And that's how we went from negative 22,000 to over 1.1 million in net worth. And we can officially say that we are millionaires. We want the same for you. We want the same for you. And with that, y'all, we did it. We're going to let you go.
Have a great rest of your day.
Yes. And we will see you next Sunday, 3:30 Eastern time, y'all. See ya.